Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ESL One Battlefield 4 Spring Finals. We've already seen 2 games today. We are 2 games deep in our finals here. I've managed to steal Brett effects off the caster desk for a little bit of downtime here in the main arena. Now, Brett, we've already seen, obviously, those 2 matches today. We've seen, obviously, Fnatic and Legionnaires. We've seen InFamous and Epsilon. Now we're at the point where we're obviously seeing these 2 teams that come down to our lower bracket. Legionnaires and InFamous. What are your thoughts on this one? Who do you think has the edge?
Well, right now, I don't really think, InFamous probably has the edge just in terms of experience. They've been around longer. Those players have played in this situation a lot longer, I think, than Legionnaires have. But they both lost. They both come off of a 2-0 loss. Legionnaires worse than InFamous, but then again, you know, InFamous didn't play Fnatic. Fnatic being the #1 team, obviously one of the worst, teams that have to be matched up right from the start. But Legionnaires actually was playing fairly decently against Fnatic, I think, if you take a look at it as to what the teams are. So I think that if Legionnaires keeps a cool head on, they should be able to make a pretty good game of this. Maybe even take to a map 3, possibly even take the game. I don't know, because last time we did see Vox taking down MHSV, which was completely out of nowhere. Nobody really expected that to happen. So, these guys were the ones that gave up their spot for Vox. So they should have been there last year. So maybe they're going to be that team to take it for the Australians.
Well, as you say that as well, we have an interesting situation with both of these teams in where they are both undermanned. All right, so 3 of the core players from Legionnaires aren't here. Okay, Shady NZ, the captain, obviously had a back operation and couldn't fly. And 2 of the guys are younger. Now, Valzo was actually part of the previous Legionnaires team who gave their spot over to Vox last season because, again, he was too young. So, both teams as well, InFamous missing 2 players, are plagued by these issues. I mean, it's interesting to see, will we see a change of style from these guys? I think I sort of asked the question earlier on. We've always seen that, InFamous kind of using that more aggressive style. They're often really liking to come forward and try and push, which obviously kind of broke like waves on rock against Epsilon. Are we seeing anything different from these guys now that they've had a bit of a lineup change at all?
Well, I think that the thing with InFamous was that, yes, they were very aggressive, but the problem was that the aggression really didn't have any meat to it. Once they got a point, they couldn't hold it. Epsilon was able to fight right back into it. Lockers, they had a lot of better chance there in round number 2. They were starting to hold that AB setup there for a little while. But for the most part, they don't have any defense. They're able to cap flags, but they're not able to hold the flags. And the biggest thing in this particular game type is that you have to be able to get that bleed and keep it in your favor. Right now, with the way InFamous is playing, I think they're going to be able to run around, Legion. I think they're going to be able to take them down in terms of just pure aggression. But the thing is that can they hold the flags? Legionnaires, I think they need to be playing, once they get that 2 flag set up, they need to start locking it down. As far as, not having certain players playing, I know Shay's, I've seen him play before, and I've seen, some of his stuff on streams as well as on YouTube. Not having him here, especially since he's a team captain, that is definitely a big problem. I mean, and you can't really get around that. I mean, it's just going to happen. Other players are going to have to step up. It's going to be, individuals that really make the plays in the games, start making those call-outs, those clutch 1v2s, 1v3, stuff like that for Legionnaires. But overall, I think if Legionnaires plays calm, if they're able to get that 2 flag set up, lock it down and play defensively, and let basically InFamous, if they do push in onto a certain flag, rotate around them, I think they'll be just fine.
All right, so then on that note, then what was your prediction for this game? You're thinking InFamous maybe a little bit in front?
I want to say the Australians got this, but I'm going to say InFamous has the win. I think that it can go to a 2-1, though. I think that from what we've seen in the past, and as I said, Legionnaires, they're warmed up, and they did have to play Fnatic, so I don't think they were very worried about it. If you looked at their faces, if you looked at the way they were acting after that loss, it wasn't like it was a big deal. It was kind of like, well, it's Fnatic, what are you going to do about it? But I think that they have a chance here to make a pretty big play on InFamous. InFamous coming out of that loss kind of sucks. I think they could have probably taken map number 2, so I don't really know what the deal happened there. That was really, really interesting to see. So maybe they're kind of a little bit irritated at themselves for messing that one up. But I think it could go to a 2-1, but in favor of InFamous.
Well, okay, 2-1 to InFamous. We'll have to see if that is going to be the case. Let's hope, perhaps, that Krypton and Rabbit, obviously the more quieter players of Legionnaires now, can find their voices and lead their guys through. Let's see what the casters have to think about this matchup and dive right into the action.
Thanks very much, Mitch. I'm joined by Milos there for this one. It's good to have you here. You get a bit of a trial by fire here, haven't you? You've basically been like, hey, can you just set yourself up? Oh, thank you there, thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm ready. I came prepared. I'm always prepared.
Always.
I have quite a bit of experience casting, but hey, this is very, very different. I haven't seen this much professionalism ever.
Well, I mean, I was talking to Brett before, and he was like, this is so weird. This isn't my bedroom, and I'm casting.
Exactly.
So it's great to have you here, and I'm going to be interested to know your thoughts on the game in hand. Of course, we're going to be going to see InFamous up against Legionnaires. We've already had Brett FX let us know his thoughts, but opening kind of statement about this one is this is do or die for Legionnaires.
Yes.
They have come halfway around the world, all the way from down under, and it all comes down to this.
Oh yes, it does. However, that was what Brett was explaining, not just right now, but before when we were casting the game. He said that InFamous, they weren't playing too well versus Epsilon. They were losing those holds, weren't able to turn around from one side to the other, losing focus on the game, not a lot of teamwork on their hands. And that's all about the team composition. They haven't had a steady team. Yeah,
and of course, you see the lineup there for InFamous, their opponent, Tony, Rella, or not Rella, sorry, Zam, Kremer, and Yasser Lojair, who is going to be called Yasser for the remainder of this one. Of course, it was said before that both teams actually have struggling with their rosters. No Hunter here for InFamous. And I think what's actually kind of intriguing to me about this is that both sides, yes, they've had changes to rosters, but also InFamous are so hit and miss. Like, this is a team who can post incredible results and then the next day get knocked out round 2. Then you throw in a Legionnaires, this unknown entity who have admittedly had a little bit of a slow start, but it's against Fnatic. How much do we really know about Legionnaires?
That's for sure. Going up against Fnatic for any team is a very, very difficult thing to do, though. We have Shady NZ. I personally know him all about his frag movies. Fantastic there. Krypton, Rabbit, Solemn. We have Brutal as well. I mean, these guys, as you were saying...
What a name.
Brutal name there.
Joshua James, Andrew Reardon. Whoa, that is brutal.
Yeah, that is brutal, that's for sure. But they're coming in halfway across the world, qualifying very well played at those online qualifiers, and then coming here in Germany, in Köln, and getting ready to play. And their first game, as you were saying, Fnatic, not an easy team for anybody to take down, let alone a team like Legionnaires. But now they're stuck versus InFamous, and we're going to go for the map picks. Let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm interested to know how this one shapes. Of course, let's not forget, InFamous ended up playing Locker, Siege, and... Well, no, what was the second map?
For InFamous, they were playing
Locker and Siege. We didn't
Locker,
see the third.
Siege, and then third was Zavod, but it's already voted out, vetoed. It's a very difficult map to play. And then the second one is going to be Paracel Storm.
Interestingly enough, we did see Legionnaires veto Zavod as well. Maybe a map they just don't feel comfortable on. Potentially one that's not played so much.
Thank God Lankang Dam.
In the Australian area. So Paracel and Dam taken out. We're just looking for that final ban. It looks like it's going to be Dawnbreaker. So we are going to have quite a familiar map pool for these teams, starting potentially with the exact same map that they did beforehand. It's actually going to be Siege of Shanghai this time to start things off.
But can InFamous actually come back from this? I mean, InFamous weren't really playing 2L versus Epsilon. They gave Epsilon those shots to go all across the map and just turn them from one side to the other at the start of the game. Epsilon always had the hold.
Yeah, they did. And I'm actually... Did you catch the order of those last two maps? I looked down to write down Siege, and it's gone. It was Siege, Lock, Golmud?
Golmud. I believe it was Golmud then...
Either way, we know we're going to be starting with Siege of Shanghai. So we'll turn our attention to that, with that being confirmed now. And as we load on into that one, it's a map we've already seen. So we have some results to kind of fall back on. And the first thing that's worth saying is we saw Epsilon kind of... well, you casted it. You can definitely provide a little bit more insight than me, but we saw Epsilon and InFamous meeting on Siege of Shanghai, and it seemed to me that they never really had control.
No, and you were saying InFamous have the potential to do so, but they're so hit and miss.
Right.
On the starts, they give Epsilon the holds, but then we saw they're going back. They had them at the end of those tickets, but they just lost it. They had Epsilon controlling the games, forcing those engagements, and that's not a good thing that InFamous wants to have versus a team like Epsilon. However, now with Legionnaires, it might be a bit easier for them to play. However, it's pretty equal, I have to say.
Okay.
Both teams, I think this is going to be down to the third map. I would prefer the Aussies.
Calling it. Okay, so seeing it go all the way down to a third, and with what I've seen from Legionnaires so far, it's tough to call. I would love to see. I mean, everyone knows, if you've seen me cast any game, if there's an Australian team there, I am a bit of a fanboy. With Vox for CS, it's just so cool to see them. If it's over here, we had, of course, Vox for the last 2 seasons. We had them over in Gamescom and our studios as well. This time, a couple of new faces in the Cologne studio, but I really want to see their potential to shine through. And I would hate to see this wrapped up so quickly. I think you're right. A third map, either way, cut it either way. I'd love to see a third map. And I think so. Our determining factors, our storylines, if it were, is will InFamous step up? Will they get to that point which they have reached online in the past? Or will Legionnaires kind of display why they are the best team in Australia?
That is for sure. I want to see the Legionnaires coming back into this just so we can see at least a third map. If you can take the game, force it out with what we would say an honorary loss at the end, but you played it. You played it well. Want to see those grinds of the last tickets. But it's going to be not just the plays, but just the frags, the 1v1, the switches around from each map, and the mind games. But we're hopping in, 5 seconds left, and Legionnaires on the Chinese side.
And here we go, ESL One spring season. It's our second game now to see if, second game for me. I've just realized I definitely just sat one out. It's InFamous up against Legionnaires. On the left-hand side of the screens for the blue side, InFamous. On the right, we have the Aussies for Legionnaires, and we're kicking this one off with a bang. Opening hold for Legionnaires, as you may expect, as they pick up that A-B hold. And I mean, it's all a question of time now. How many tickets can they maintain? But actually, God, that ace-fat's already under scrutiny.
And Crema is already going to the other side of the map. He's forcing that A-hold and really going to pretty much put Legionnaires on the side here on B. They wiped them out completely, and that's Krypton left all on his own to defend versus 3 players coming down onto the B side. You have a couple people spawning in by, their usual spawns here, going down on the C. Brutal, the last person up. Lepus getting shot down. Tony is actually getting on the escalators trying to contest here, but the flag's already in the hold of Brutal. And B is going to fall into the hands of InFamous, as now Legionnaires are feeling a bit easier with their kinds of aggressive pushes. But versus InFamous, you can't really be too aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of, if you choose to fight fire with fire, I mean, InFamous known kind of renowned for that aggressive style of play. Legionnaires, I honestly think that they can probably match that aggression if they choose to. Either way, though, Legionnaires are already starting to fall pretty flat and pretty fast. There's only 5 ticket deficits so far for InFamous, as they have finally managed to stabilize on towards that B flag. But in response, we just see InFamous quite happily say, okay, you want that, we'll have the AC hold instead. Not so ideal, of course. It does give them a lot of kind of potential with the spawns around B. It means you can kind of have a bit more direction to your pushes and a lot more options open to you. But already another couple of kills being picked up. You can see just 2 remain. Brutal, who of course really has to prove himself after a 0-20 frag score over on the Paracel Storm game up against Fnatic.
And getting the headshot there on a Yas is going to turn around with a 44. Can he make it happen? No, he's going to get shot down immediately. Well played there. Zom and his buddies from InFamous rushing when they know that there's only one player to contest. And that's another one shot down. Solemn and Krypton, and be in the hold of Tony from InFamous. Perfect rotations from the French. I'm very impressed.
I mean, is a massive part of Battlefield being aware of numbers and aware of it's almost like scouting is a part of it as well?
Yes, that is for sure. It's not like with CS where you're playing with a one life game mode. However, knowing the squad wipes, knowing when people are being taken out on each flag, let's say 2-3 people were wiped on one flag, you have to force the other. Where are they going to respawn? Knowing those spawns and when you're pushing through the map, that is very integral to playing domination here in BF4.
92 tickets remaining for Legionnaires. They've fallen pretty flat already. Just 10 tickets lost from InFamous since that starting 150. And I mean, that's a statement in itself. InFamous seem to be climbing fast. As you can see, a nice distribution of frags as well. About 1 frag, let's make it 2, sorry, separating the top and bottom fragger so far. And Legionnaires, they've got 2 players yet to pick up 1.
Yeah. I would always say that it's about holding the flags, but you really need to get those frags before you push onto the flags. And Legionnaires have been really underperforming there. Rella in a very good spot, easily taking out Brutal. No problem there. Solemn coming in from behind, gets a few shots, but it's not going to be enough. Krema's going to play it out, and they're just wiped. There's only here Rabbit's going to push in down on B. But is it going to be enough there? He's going to get some shots. We'll take out 1, try to, do as much as possible here on the middle, but so many players are going in on to the B side and just frags all over the place. LG or Legionnaires have actually taken this back into their hands. InFamous really shot down there, and 2 flags in the hold now.
Now this is where you slice it. This is where Legionnaires just have to dig their heels in and say, we are not gonna budge. Rabbit has opened up 1 though with the AEK, potentially gonna look for a second, but he's shut down by Crema getting that revenge frag as well as the revive, and that seemed to be something that InFamous are doing a whole lot better than the Aussies at this point. 30 kills to just 18, as InFamous have finally fallen beneath that 25 tickets threshold that they've kind of standing above for so very long. Still though, 123 to 69 speaks for itself, as Legionnaires now are about to be under a whole lot of scrutiny over on that B side.
Yeah, I mean, they're, speaking of the B side, just complete tightening of the noose there. LG are just shot down on the side. Rabbit is going to get taken down. Brutal to get 1 frag against Tony. Turning around, try to get something of a pick there, but he's already getting shot down. InFamous in control of A and B, and they might be forcing a Charlie push, but Zam just waiting. He's going to wait for that spawn, try to get the picks, try to get the information for his teammates before trying to foolishly push on the flag and maybe lose a sort of a hold that InFamous might have.
Yeah, and I mean, look at this. He's just surrounded by hostiles. He can't even find the first. Oh, finally corrects his error, but his whereabouts are now known. And as you can see, his teammates are actually picking up frags to kind of keep him in this. He gets to the other one. That's only a squad wipe now. Just Rabbit remaining for the Legionnaires. And I think he's a mile and a half away. So that's going to enable him to just stabilize over on that flag. And oh, might be able to catch it. He does, and the spawns have come in as well, but that's still just a bit of a kind of a consolation prize for the Australians, as they are just going to be spawning in 3 players towards that A flag, and they're going to be doing their very best to kind of snatch that away from the InFamous.
Well, Crema already has the information. He knows that there's going to be a rotation because his teammates saw that there weren't people contesting the other flags, and he just wanted to check out A flag, which is already getting shot down, and that's a 3-man rush. Overcommitment, but what we saw last time, you want to overcommit to be 100% sure that you're at least going to get that A flag to be able to spawn on another side of the map, try to push on to B, and they're going to force the rotation from InFamous onto C, but already 2 people shot down. That's Zam, well played down in the middle, and Lepus going to try.
Look at that. There's just 4 corpses littering the B site, and I mean, that is a statement more so about what Legionnaires are kind of doing wrong at this point.
Yes.
I mean, it seems like a bit of a broken record. I feel like me and Breck were kind of just hammering this home, beating the dead horse, but it does just seem to me that the Legionnaires side are not picking up the frags, not picking up the 1v1s, and I mean, it's not all the battlefield is, especially here in Domination, but it's a big part. If you can't hold a site, if you can't get the kills you need to keep a site safe, then you're just going to be playing catch-up from the start.
Yeah, and that's what happened as well with Epsilon versus InFamous. They were forcing those engagements, and InFamous had to keep rotating, but InFamous or Epsilon were always catching them off guard. And that's what's happening exactly here with Legionnaires. InFamous very, very good on the rotations, just keeping the action rolling. Offense, best defense here.
It certainly seems to be the case, and I mean, there are downsides to the aggressive play style, right? I mean, we saw Safe before in the interview, and he was actually saying that yes, we know they're aggressive, but the best play to beat an offensive team is to just hold your angles and be better than them, which is a kind of, I mean, I guess it was a slightly kind of confident statement, but it's also probably speaks quite true for a lot of these teams. Epis, nice frag as well. Crichton was there as well behind him.
Oh, and a triple cap's going to come down here for Legionnaires, actually. No, Charlie being defended there. InFamous Tony getting shot down. Lepus is going to try to do something, but 103 to 5. I don't think there's going to be much to be done here, that's for sure.
Hey, it's closing the gap. Don't forget, this is the first half. So, you know, if you can slice that 100 down to 70, you've made a big step into kind of securing a bit of an easier second half. So far, though, 95 to just 4 as Legionnaires. Every death matters here. Already, Lepis is down, and now he's going to be holding onto that spawn, I don't doubt, as you can see Zam is just hungry for some frags. He does it, and he does it well. Gets one into the heels of Solemn. Another one falls, it's Krypton. This is just going back and forth. 3 tickets remain as Legionnaires realize this is all said and done. Rabbit, the last man in the squad, maybe he's got a lucky rabbit's foot, but he's going to try and do something, cut down the tickets, but it looks like that B site is soon to be shut down. Just 2 remain, and 87 in the back of InFamous.
But look at Crema, already pushing on A. I mean, they dropped 15, 16 tickets. It's something, but already a quick rotation from LG or Legionnaires onto C. It's too late, but it was something there. 16 tickets at the end for just a couple on the Legionnaires side. It's not impossible, but it is going to be very, very difficult to come back from this for Legionnaires.
A number I always kind of come back to with Jason and Lauren when we were casting is always 80. We treat that as a threshold. We always say, you know, anything above 80, you're going to have a hard time. Anything below, like if you're looking at maybe 70, 60, there's a game on your hands. 80 here, was it 84? I mean, going by the threshold, it shouldn't be winnable. Judging by Legionnaire's performance, it shouldn't be winnable. But still, let's just turn our attention to the frags. Already there's a statement there. Brutal has found his footing. He's found, you know, he started to pick up frags. Lepis was another guy who was falling behind, maybe not so much yet. just with 4. But on the other side of things, InFamous, team who just got off the back of playing Epsilon, not with their full roster, of course, and I mean, that's tough for any team. When you take away some integral parts of the machine, a couple of cogs ripped out, it's never going to function as well. So from InFamous, strong performance, statement that they are still going to be posting some results, but really it comes down to Legionnaires now in the second half.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if they can come back from this. It's going to be very difficult if they can really force those rotations, but they have to break that momentum from InFamous off the start of the game. InFamous are now coming in strong, and they're very sure of their skills and talents on Siege of Shanghai against a team like Legionnaires. And they have to play it very, very carefully, not being too aggressive. And as Saif was explaining before when he was interviewed, you have to wait until they come to you and you get those easy frags and try to use that squad wipe, that push, always having somebody moving around the map trying to get that hold for coming in. But 84 tickets, you were saying, above 80, it's going to be quite difficult.
It most definitely is, and of course the winner of this one does go on to play the loser of Fnatic Epsilon. So that, I mean, that's terrifying for either side. Two of the well, let's be honest, they were in the final last season. Yes. They are the top teams in the EU region, so it's kind of going to be interesting to me to see how hard these guys are going to fight to avoid that fate, or sorry, to get to that next step. Obviously, the loser of this one is eliminated, and certainly is a long way home for Legionnaires if it does end that way. So, last chance saloon for both of these teams. Let's see how they treat this second half. Already a good start for InFamous as we go on in. 84 tickets is the threshold that they have to best, as we're going to go in and see how InFamous choose to stop them.
Well, I have faith in the Legionnaires. I have faith in the Australians in StarCraft and CS and now in Battlefield. Let's see what they can do. They're trying to push up here onto the middle, trying to hold from the showroom here. Solemn just watching the side on a B, but there's already one guy, two guys taken out. That's going to be too easy there. Crema to finish off Rabbit. It's not really too lucky there with the Rabbit's foot, as you were saying before.
Not just yet.
Yeah, not just yet. Brutally shot down off the middle, and InFamous are just going to deal with this easy peasy AB.
That brutal name is just a gift to casters, isn't it? Everyone's going to be abusing that one. You can just be like brutalized and stuff like that. Either way, though, he's going to be sitting on a handsome 0 for 2, as are the entire Legionnaires squadron, as they are just going to be falling by the wayside, it seems. As InFamous starting with a bang, you can see a nade just going off there. It was actually Krypton who took down Yassi there.
Now, Brutal and his buddies from Legionnaires trying to rotate onto A, but already InFamous know that information. They know, they saw the fire, everything lit up on the minimap, and they know exactly where they're coming from. One guy being shot down, Krypton getting taken out, not good enough there. Yas gonna turn around, getting another frag on the Brutal, and again shot down. He's going to get a revive very quickly. Saw him getting shot down. One more person alive with 5 health remaining. Not able to deal off the MP412 T-Rex there and getting shot down on A with a hold from InFamous.
And already 141 tickets. InFamous just going to be sitting around that threshold. We saw what happened before. It took them what felt like, half of the game just to fall beneath 125 tickets. They seem to be doing the same again. You can see already been highlighted that kind of wall of red. InFamous just creating this big, scary wall that the Legionnaires are going to have to try and break through, and they do. That's a first pick. That's actually going to be Brutal taking down Rella. He took him with him, though, as it was that trade-off, but it's going to be a case of nades. It's going to be a case of picks. And so far, 2 members from InFamous are still on the risky spawn.
Well, we're not really seeing incendiary nades try to force Legionnaires, or even against InFamous, force them out of those holds on the middle of the flags, and even on B in the back there with Tony. Legionnaires not really using all of the arsenal that's available to them in Battlefield 4, and Krypton trying to get some picks there in the showroom. Tony just rushing in, gets the 42 assists. Turning around, spots one guy on Charlie. He sees there's too many people from Legionnaires there stuck on C, and you're going to see the big red push. 3 people taken out, and it's already Crema dealing so much damage. 7 and 1. That's fantastic.
There are, of course, just 10 tickets now away from this map concluding, and that's a terrifying thought for Legionnaires, meaning they would have to fall back into map number 2, which we're still waiting for confirmation on the order of them, but still, 135 from InFamous. This is looking good, and I mean, the individuals that are standing out to me, Crema, always the top fragger, still doing just that with just 1 death as well as Legionnaires. Couple of tickets from defeat here on Siege of Shanghai, and the Australians have got 1 foot in the grave.
Yeah, there we go. Charlie, only Lepus there. There's not a ton of rotations coming up. Crema trying to get something there done with the 412 Rex, but not able to do too much. It's 84 tickets there. That's going to be game.
It's going to be game, and our second map will be Operation Locker. We'll be jumping into that one. Feels like we've seen that just quite recently, of course, in the infamous Epsilon game. We saw Epsilon playing against InFamous in that one, and we actually saw them kind of emerging victorious with quite some style, quite some pizzazz. InFamous seem to have this style. They have this kind of air about them where they'll take an early deficit and then proceed to be on like 15, 20 tickets and then suddenly start smashing it, getting trip caps, holding angles perfectly. And it seems to me that like if InFamous can do what they do in the last 30 tickets at the start of a game, then they could really just step up their game phenomenally.
Yeah, it might be that French arrogance that they have, that Dragoon-like stuff that they have. I mean, this map is pretty difficult to play if you want to think of all the rotations. There's so many spots where you can hold them out, especially on the outside there by Charlie, A and B. And it's going to be fairly difficult for Legionnaires to come back from this.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, that's for sure. I mean, my main kind of concerns now is going to come down to individual performance. And not to completely be a name caller, but we haven't seen much from Lupus yet. Rabbit, again, not too much from him. Brutal kind of starting to stay level, but the names that are still always essentially at the top of that scoreboard is Krypton and is Solemn. So those are the kind of guys that are probably doing really well for themselves, especially with Solemn being a stand-in, for the original 5. So it's good to see some of these stand-ins are really kind of playing up to scratch. And we jump into Operation Locker for game 2. And this is, talk to me a little bit about Operation Locker, how it plays and the pacing.
Well, what we were explaining before is that on any map, you have to have at least 2 out of 3 flags. The bleed of those tickets is going to go down so quick for your team. It's really going to help you a lot. But having that AC hold or that AB hold is very important because you can switch and rotate from one flag to the other very easily. On C, you have a couple of spots down at the mountains where you can hold those. A, you have quite a bit of head glitch spots, even though that doesn't really exist anymore. BC, very difficult to rotate to go and defend that flag. You're too open in the middle, but let's see what's going to happen here. Is kick on A, Solemn staying on A, trying to get that cap for his team. 3 people going outside on to Charlie for the Legionnaires. Really a Legionnaire charge there. Yeah,
this is a heavy investment from the Australians. They want this flag and they need to get it quickly, otherwise it's going to cost them far too much resources. Already you can see that the InFamous side are making the call like, hey, there's 3 of them out here. We may need to make a push to the A or B sides. Here they come. Here comes the wave. And that is a huge oversight from Legionnaires. They put too much weight on their teammates' shoulders over on the A side, and all that's going to be is an easy infirmary. In fact, oh my lord, it's a trip cap. The guys outside have just, I'm not, what I say is not suitable for air, but they've basically just been sitting on their hands, not doing anything, as this is going to be an early strong start for InFamous. Finally getting the pick on C, but that is going to mean very little in the long run of things.
Oh yeah, only B back in the hands of the Legionnaires, but there's already a couple people you can see there on the map. Zam and his buddy as well, Crema from InFamous, are already on A. I think they killed one another there for some reason. A bit of friendly fire. Lep is trying to push up, but it's still a bit a trade. I mean, Legionnaires going for C. Immediately, InFamous rotating to B.
Yeah, they've lost 3 tickets so far. Legionnaires not so lucky, as they are going to continue to just wait this one out. Lep is just hanging on the sidelines, finally diving into the depths of B. I love to see how long he can hold this as his teammates are there to support him. And so really the next question is, InFamous, how long can they take C? As that's going to be the next hold. This is what you were talking about before, though.
Yep. You
were talking about this AC hold, how it basically enables you to rotate nice and quickly. And it's going to be interesting to see how this one shapes up. As you can see, 3 make it 4 players from Legionnaires starting the bush.
Well, Zam is actually not going to stand just on C. He's going to push up all the way on a Bravo flag. But A is going to get pushed there. Lepus getting shot down. Rabbit to push in, getting some shots. Taking out Rella, but that 93R again from Crema. He's been doing so much damage with that, but finally getting taken out. He did quite a bit of damage before going down. 1 person slowing down 3-4 players. That's a massive investment for the Legionnaires to get at least one of the players there.
Yeah, and now Legionnaires have managed to stabilize. A and B are under Aussie rule. We'll see for how long. As, oh my god, Rella struggling to take the frag. In fact, he didn't even connect after 30 bullets. He's going to opt for the 93R, but he ain't no Crema, as he's going to be doing his very best just to jump, catch an angle, catch a glimpse, as well as sitting on that health pack for as long as he can. Still no bullets yet to connect. Still that ticket lead in favor of InFamous, and it's going to come once again down to the individual plays. At the moment, we're not seeing too much from Rella. Sitting on a kind of reasonable 2 frags. He is at the bottom of the scoreboard for his team, but that doesn't matter. It could change. Well. It doesn't. There were 3 bodies in front of him, didn't take one with him, and that's going to end with 2 flags, starting to change hands.
Well, Lepis is going to go back all the way onto A. He's going to try and force a push on from the back of Charlie. And that's a pretty good position to be at as the frags are coming in bit by bit for the Legionnaires. 3 already down. Rabbit is pushing in. He's just going to delay the hold onto B from Crema. And Yas is going to get shot down eventually. 2 more people spawning in for InFamous, trying to push on to A, but it's a quick rotation from Lepis onto C, and a B spawn from Legionnaires will hold it pretty well. Crema still alive. He's just trying to get onto the side there, but Sam is pushing onto A. He's got Tony to help, and Rella is going to get shut down. Lepis is going to get his buddy back up there with a revive. No man left behind, and Charlie, that's for sure, is going to go into their hands.
The map is blue for now, but look at this turnaround. Immediately, Legionnaires taking full advantage of those 3, make it 4 kills as Rabbit just turns the volume up, picking up the double. He's holding steady in S-Ben for a little longer as he is going to be waiting for that regen to tide over. And I mean, with Legionnaires hold here, this could be the turnaround. This could be the moment where the Aussies make it confirmed that we're going to see a 3rd map.
Yeah, only a 9-ticket lead there for InFamous. Not a lot there, but Lepis, look at that. Sneaky. No, fires a bit too much there. Gets a 94 assist, and that's a quick push, but Zam and his buddies are going to really clear it out. Easy peasy. Brutal from the side. Not really living up to his name so far. Trying to get to defense on the helipad, but already shot down 3 people to push onto C. It's going to really help them regain control. Charlie and A, very well defended there, I have to say. I mean, Rella, he's been playing fantastically with whatever weapon you give the guy.
Yeah, he's doing a fantastic job. I see the frags, though, of course, favoring Yassi the stand-in. This is a point that's going to be really worth hammering home, as this is a guy who's basically been dragged in saying, hey, man, we really could use your help here, and he's doing a real stand-up job, just keeping the frags level. And I mean, of course, frags aren't everything, but he's holding the spots. He's not getting greedy. He's going to dive from the depths. I say he's not being greedy. He goes Assassin's Creed style from the top. Didn't quite happen. 99 to 88, though, and only 10 tickets separating these teams. This is a pleasant surprise.
Oh, yeah. I really would not have thought that the Legionnaires would be able to do this so well on lockers. However, they're playing very well. Brutal there, checking up the pick on the Zom, turning for the second, but it's again that Ace 23 from Crema will clear it out, waiting for the regen, and they're going to keep hold of B.
This is it now. It's time to do or die, and they're trying to keep that, try and turn this around, and actually potentially could happen as BNC are still looking to stay under Legionnaire rule. B site is under scrutiny though. Krypton, the man to defend it, and he's just going to be holding that angle on the pillar. Tony is on the other side of that wall, and that's going to be basically a kind of limbo between the two, as actually he's opted to go towards A. He takes a brilliant hit fire onto Brutal, and now that's going to be a trip cap for Legionnaires, and this is for the first time in the game, Legionnaires leading the fray.
Oh yeah, 77 to 85, and they're very much in the lead. However, back spawns onto B from InFamous, but look at that, Lepis. He's spawning in from behind. He has a perfect spawn to wait for a couple people to spawn, maybe Krypton, and try to push him from the back as soon as he sees that those InFamous players are going into the other side of the map. There we go, Zam getting taken out, easy peasy, going on a B, forcing that rotation from InFamous that will really commit onto A, but Charlie uncontested so far. And I don't know if InFamous are really going to go for it.
It takes a great deal of kind of map knowledge to be fully confident in just abandoning C. Like, you have C and then you just walk away. That, to me, that just feels like wrong. Like, in so many levels, you're like, oh, but what if they do? But no, they respect that. They understand where InFamous are kind of investing their time and their resources. But now, as soon as they realize InFamous probably going to turn their attention to C, they are there, or they were, as Krypton does get taken down by Zam. And that's going to be kind of an exchange, meaning that Tony knows he's going to be in trouble, and he is. Brutal just darting around the corner to pick that one up, gets a second, gets a third. He's just turned it up completely from bottom fragging before to top fragging now, and that's going to be the BA hold. It's not ideal, but it's certainly what they need right now.
Yeah, they're playing fantastically here. They're getting in the minds of InFamous, and this is what they have to play at this point. They're up 78 to 52. Legionnaires have a chance to take at least the first round here, and I really want this to go into a second, but already shot down there. Brutal. Very well played. Arella is forced to go all the way onto A. Legionnaires still in the AB hold, and look at that spread all over the map. They have a defensive hold, and Rella really struggling to push back a couple players there, Brutal and Solemn, holding it pretty well on A.
And this is kind of going to be like, what, 3 pushes max for InFamous left in the tank? As we're going to be seeing, oh, another one easy picked up by InFamous. This is their last push. This is their last stand. Solemn does get that, though, as he's going to be eliminated by Krypton. And now we're going to have to see if, and the question is a big if, this 77 is going to be enough for Legionnaires.
Well, InFamous now in control of A. They have control of C, and they were counterplaying the, the tunnel vision that the guys from Legionnaires had. They focused too much onto A. They lost that push. And with that, they had to reorganize, and now they're doing that fantastically. Tony getting shot down, a couple of people coming up. That's Solemn and Brutal onto C. They're capping the flag. Crema in a very good position there on the hillside there, the mountain. He's got Zom to jump down, but he cannot turn it around. That's already Brutal to take the kill. Turning her off for the second, but easily shot down. 2 players coming in onto C. It's all about those final tickets. 30 to 66 is going to be played until the end there. Legionnaires in the lead.
Yeah, and Legionnaires, they want to try and keep this threshold high. They want to try and get something, a scrap of tickets that they can drag into the second half. And the moment, it could very well go that way. If they can end this with 30, even 40, that would be a real let's be honest, these teams seem pretty close-knit. Let's not forget, of course, InFamous did finish with an 84 ticket threshold in the first game. But here, looks to be a bit of a different story.
Yeah, City of Shanghai not really looking too much like Legionnaires' map. However, they're bringing this perfectly there. They're pushing on to B. They're trying to regain that control as Zom is just waiting around, waiting for that capture, and he will take it. They're turning around for the kill. A nice headshot on the Solemn. But, I mean, there's just a couple people there. Solemn and Rabbit. Solemn's going to get shut down. Rabbit very low. There we go. Taking out easy peasy onto B. Forcing the rotations. A and B in the hold. And Lepus is going to dance around there, takes the kill there. Well played on to the InFamous stand-in there. Crema watching the side, but he's going to get taken out. Gets that information at least that it's going to be an A push. They rotate around, and InFamous are setting up shop, trying to get the kill. There we go, Zom with the kill on Lepus.
Yeah, 2v1 is going to be the magic number now. Gorilla ready to deal with it. Does get one for perhaps potential second here, as Brutal has already fallen. It looks like there's going to be a good bit of teamwork to eliminate the competition. It was Solemn who is now down and out. And so as the dust begins to settle, A and B are the 2 sites flying for InFamous as they're trying to level out these tickets, and they're doing a damn good job of it as Legionnaires. They need to stabilize, they need to respawn, and they need to push together, because that was something that we saw them kind of struggling to do on Siege of Shanghai, is not having the entire lineup ready for a push. They were either losing men too early or were kind of falling a bit flat in their executions.
Yep, now here Zom getting taken out, and they're going to push all the way on to A. I mean, Legionnaires, they're 22 to 19. They had a pretty good lead, 30, 40 tickets, but it's going down pretty darn quick. They are still in control of Charlie as well. So Krypton watching the side, getting a nice pick there on the outside onto Crema and Arella as well. Tony really stuck in the corner, getting taken out with a nice nade. Zam the only person up, but he's going to get shot down.
That's a squad wipe.
Yeah.
And that's a big deal. That's 5 forced tickets lost. You cannot revive really unless you're super lucky with the respawn. And so B site is going to kind of be gifted to InFamous with the random respawn. But Legionnaires still in control. They're looking to wrap this up now, and they think they're going to do it. It's all about TDM now. A couple of kills needed as the bleed is on. 20 tickets could most very well be the thresholds. Legionnaires hold on to those spawns. It is. And Legionnaires are going to, for the first time at this tournament, finish a half with the lead.
I am. That was... I don't want to say really like Caesar's Legions type play.
Okay.
But the Legionnaires really inched it out at the end. They almost lost it with the map control, with the A and B going back into the hands of InFamous, but getting those very good frags. We can tell Rabbit 19 and 10 has been playing very, very good, trying to get those picks here and there. Yas on the US side there for InFamous, he was top fragging at the start, fell off a bit at the end as Legionnaires were just playing fantastically. Tony 16 and 8. A bit defensive play there from him. Would like to see a bit more aggression, trying to push onto the actual flags instead of just trying to get those frags on the outside on Charlie and on B as well. But 20 tickets, I think InFamous can come back.
I think there's going to be a kind of cornered beast kind of feel to this, where InFamous, they're so very good when they're on a deficit. They seem to almost have the opposite of what Logic states, where if they feel like they're in trouble, if they feel like they're struggling, instead of tilting, these guys just get better and better. We see that, like, small examples of that when they're losing in tickets deficits, but when it's like it comes down to map deficits, when it comes down to a half deficit, they seem to just even more so be able to kind of control themselves, control their comms, and be ready to kind of maybe step it up somewhat. Either way though, guys, if you have just joined us, this is the ESL One Spring
15, I think.
That said 14 though.
I think.
That was what confused me. I was like, 20, wait, what did that say? It is the 2015. I know what year it is, I promise. As this is going to be time to see how this one shapes up. Legionnaires, the guys from all the way around the world over in Australia, battling InFamous, the French, who kind of always seem to be living in the shadow of Epsilon. And kind of, it feels to me that like those guys clashed. It didn't go too awfully. In fact, it didn't go too well for them at all. We didn't see the third map. We didn't see too much from InFamous. Did saw a couple of glimmers of hope, but this is where really InFamous have to kind of clear their names and get ready for the next game.
Oh yeah, 20 tickets is not a difficult thing for InFamous to do, but Legionnaires, they stepped up. They had map control for a lot of the game in the last round that we had here on Lockers, but it's already 1 point up for InFamous, and if they take those 20 tickets, just 21 tickets are enough for them to take the game, take the extra point, and continue on, and we're going to see the Aussies, well, go back home with this.
We'll see. Either way, the answer is going to be provided for us in this half. Are we going to see a third, or are Legionnaires going to be bested? But they have a 20-ticket advantage, and let's see how hard they can push onto InFamous with that advantage. Here we go. 5 seconds on the countdown as we go into our third game of the ESL One spring season. And also, it's going to be interesting to see if Rabbit can continue to top frag. The guy's been a bit of a demon so far. We haven't seen too much again from, I believe his name is it Lepis? If you want to call him Lerpis, that's not good. As we're going to have to see how this one shapes up already. First blood has been drawn, this time to the InFamous side. Crema with another, and those early frags are so very important, as already the numbers are going to start overwhelming Legionnaires.
Yeah, InFamous are pushing down from the side as well. Tony and Crema on a B. There's Rabbit and Solemn, but they were too distracted with Rella on top, and that's going to allow InFamous to regain control of B. Another person shot down. Solemn right above, jumping down. Oh. So, what's going down on A? That's Legionnaires to regain control of A. What's going on there? Charlie as well in the hands of the Legionnaires. So that's a 2-flag hold, trying to gain it back from InFamous, and so far it's pretty equal. InFamous have to really spread it out and try to push. I mean, A is not really that defended. There's only Krypton, there's only Solemn to push it back from Legionnaires. Might be easy peasy there.
It should be easy, but when you're getting frags like that, InFamous are just going to keep picking up these 1v1 exchanges. Rella was the guy just leaping from the sidelines to pick that one up. Now Rella is going to, with that one frag, enable the C cap to go down, and InFamous going to turn the tide once again. Lost them about 20 or so tickets with that opening hold from Legionnaires, and that's a good start. Lepis, all eyes on you. Hasn't been able to pick up too much so far, and doesn't this time, as he's just going to be forced to back away, try and pick up Tony from behind, and he does, and that's a big frag now. As tickets start to level out, the BC hold needs to change hands soon. It looks like Legionnaires are making a play for that B side, as elsewhere on the map you can see things are going down on C. It's going to be a 1v1. Rella and Lepis going to clash heads, butt heads, and looks like Lepis has got the burn going pretty solid on this flag.
But Rella, there we go, getting the pick. He was waiting for that moment, playing the mind games. He was waiting for him to tunnel vision onto the other side of the map, and just immediately getting the pick. Rella's going to take control of that. Big fight starting off on B. Still neutralized there. Zam is going to jump down, try to regain control of the map, getting some shots in, but he's just going to get the assist. I mean, it's fine there. They have control of the flag, and they're doing pretty well there. B and C in the hands of InFamous, and it's still tied. It's been back and forth, and I'm loving the intensity from both of the teams trying to get this back.
I mean, of course there's intensity. There is so much on the line for these guys, battling to stay in the tournament with a chance of a slice of the 30,000 euros that awaits those top teams. Now, Mukrella, he's holding that spot, and we're going to keep calling him Mukrella until he changes his name. It's so frustrating, as he's going to be doing his best to shape things towards his team. 119 to 131 is the current score, as you can see he's going to be darting out. This is what he does so well. He just seems to just be leaping out so very, like, a kind of hyper-aggressive player, as this BC hold for InFamous has been lasting a little too long for the Legionnaires side.
Yeah, that is for sure, but Krypton is spawning in on the, well, he's in control of B. They're going to break it out there. Yas is going to try to jump down onto B. There you go. He's going to wait for the pick. It's all about the information. He wants to gather that information. Oh, but he already gets shot down not quickly enough. And that is the Legionnaires to regain control of Bravo. An A push coming out from InFamous. Can they make this happen here? Tony is just watching the side, evading a backdrop. I don't know what's going to go down here. Brutal is holding the side very, very well in a pretty good spot. Nobody really can take him out there. Solemn's going to get shot down from the side. Zam and his buddies from InFamous are in a pretty good... They're sandwiched, man. That's not going to happen. Lepis is going to get taken out. And, well, that's going to be it. Legionnaires are in control of A yet again, and an A Behold is going to be coming down 104 to 117.
It does feel like Legionnaires actually have quite like a Legionnaire style of play. They're very kind of together, playing as a unit. There's obviously a good degree of communication between these guys. They're not the same kind of style as InFamous, where it is quite literally just 5 guys who have good aim and are really good at Battlefield. This time, though, you actually have a group of players who are playing as a team. And I mean, yes, InFamous just seem to have this style of play which can throw teams off so very quickly because they just appear, they jump out, they play as they like what you wouldn't expect, kind of illogical play style. But so far it's kind of a very level playing field. And look at that again, Crema just darting off the rock, leaping to take down another Legionnaire player. This time though, the BC hold from InFamous has still been kind of defended quite well. Legionnaires need to regroup and do what they do best.
Well, this is the thing. InFamous guys are really good at peeking those corners, jumping around, and getting the frag easily. Even if they don't, they're pre-firing just to be sure. Here, a couple of shots gone down for Legionnaires in the middle. Lepus is going to take out one. Zam is jumping down, but he's immediately shot out. Lepus, well played there, fantastic aim, but so many falling from Legionnaires on the B flag. Transition from Tony onto A. I mean, sure, but a back spawn for Krypton. He's going to try to sandwich them in as they're trying to move around the A flag. Getting those nades in before pushing. Krypton will get the one. Trying for the second, does not connect there. And they're going to be cleared out. Rabbit has to be, has to force back those nades. No way, no way.
Yeah, this 20 tickets that they had from the first half is quite literally nullified right now. They are a level playing field once again. Both teams around that 80 ticket threshold if you work it out. And now, 3 players. This is what I was expecting to see. Legionnaires holding angles, ready and waiting for the incoming offense. But why has he done that? He's just completely exposed himself. He had cover, he took it away from himself, and it cost him his life. Solemn is going to be pretty sullen after that one, as now Krypton...
Oh, yes, with that shot there. He's going to get taken out from the back. Well played from Krypton, and pushing all the way on to C. I don't know. I mean, Legionnaires back and forth. They're in control of B and C, but yeah, there we go. That top side for Zom and Crema. Krypton tries to get to, there we go. The shot, well played. But Zom coming in from below and gonna get the easy peasy frag there. Very low on health, not enough time for the regen to kick in.
So little separates these two teams. Let's not forget, InFamous did secure Siege of Shanghai. And I mean, we could be minutes away from saying goodbye to the Legionnaire squad, or even minutes away from a third map. The answer will be provided so very shortly, and we'll see who is going to step up to the plate. 72 to 84 is the scoreline. Let's not forget, though, of course, the 20 brought in from the first half. And for the first time in what feels like a while, Legionnaires do have that 2 cap, but it's not going to be. It's going to be a pretty short-lived one. As actually, I think Legionnaires are quite happy to forgo B for the C flag.
Oh yeah, an AC hold with that kind of spawn that they had in the back of A is very, very nice, because they can rotate directly onto C, get the defensive needed. But yes, look at that positioning, taking out Rabbit from the top. He's always getting those sneaky frags. Very difficult to finish him off, and he's going to buy time for his team, getting some more rounds down. But Solemn just wasted so much time before getting on the flat cap, and that's a couple tickets here and there. That's how Legionnaires are going to inch it back.
You need to be so careful now. Every frag matters. I mean, especially if you respawn, there's always that kind of lack of communication about, can you res me, can you get me up, can you get me up? And it's interesting to see that so far we haven't seen too much reviving from the Legionnaire squad, and they seem to be always quite kind of sporadic in the way they structure their pushes. But again, another man falls. C site is going to be wide open now, as is B, as Crema does get taken down as well. It's kind of a back and forth, to and fro. I think Legionnaires are going to be kind of hungry to take that C flag back.
Oh, but a nice shot there. Brutal getting taken out. There's Zom, there's Rella as well. Lepus not feeling too happy. He's got Krypton, however. There you go, spots out one, takes the kill. Turns around for the second there in the kitchen, but it's Lepus trying to get the shot, but no, Krypton there, taken out. Lepus somehow still alive through all the kills that were going down. The 44 coming up for him. But that's already Crema with a nice double to clear it off, and in control of A. Well played from InFamous.
And here is that cornered beast syndrome we know from InFamous. They feel the pressure and suddenly they just turn it up again. They seem to just have these hidden heights that they don't like to reach all the time, but when they do, they just feel so overwhelming. This 2-hold is going to be a pretty tough one for Legionnaires to break, and they need to break it soon, as there is going to be a trade-off. Zam does go down to Solemn's AEK, as he's going to be looking to try and open up on towards this infirmary. Here, this is where the blood is going to be shed, ironically, in the infirmary. This is going to be a 2-for-2 exchange. Just Yas remains as Zam does spawn in as well for InFamous. And Legionnaires, they have 30 to work with, and they need to make every ticket count.
But look at Zam, already getting the spawn on outside of B. Goes down, gets the flat cap. is playing very, very well down below. Solemn and Krypton try to push, but Yas is still on those sneaky places. He's trying to delay as much as possible for his buddies to gain control of B and maybe push onto A. There's already Lepus coming in from behind. Will take the kill fairly well, and Charlie going back. Solemn failing horribly there onto A, and InFamous, very good rotation again on A and B. As soon as we have a commitment from Legionnaires, InFamous are ready to go to the side, and Yas is the first person to sacrifice himself for the better of the team.
25-39 is the scores when you consider the first half, and I mean it's an advantage, but it's not as considerable as it may appear. InFamous need to try and contain themselves now. They've lost out on B, but not for particularly long. As you can see, Zam is going to be doing great work taking down Solemn to open up that B flag, and he's going to be trying to contain that gift for as long as he possibly can. The bleed will once again shift, and now InFamous are in full control. For how long, though, will be answered by Mukarella's ability to defend. One man goes down, now two players for Legionnaires ready to push into A.
Well, Lepus here trying to get the push onto A. There's Crema to contest. As you were saying, Krypton will take out the one frag. Very good revive there on the Brutal, and a secured hold on A. Legionnaires. Oh, Rabbit getting shot down. Quick spawn from the French, but Zam is already shot down. Not able to turn it into a trade there. Oh, Lepus getting shot. Nice double there from Tony, but there's still Krypton to try and contest on the outside of the infirmary. He's got Rabbit spawning in 3 versus 2, cornering them. It's 2 players to push out 3, 4 now from InFamous, buying time as much as possible. Legionnaires still not on the flat cap. I mean, this is just lost time everywhere. Rabbit trying to push a bit too much, gonna get taken out, and a double coming up there from Rella. Brutal.
It most definitely is brutal. Legionnaires just have 8 tickets remaining in this tournament. It's going to be a real rough ride for them if this does conclude now, and it looks like it is. They have A and B, and InFamous just 2 kills away, 2 respawns away from victory, and they've done it. They've done it in 2. They've thrown that 20-ticket advantage out of the window and said, that doesn't affect us. We are InFamous, and the French secure victory in a 2-0 sweep. Legionnaires are going home.
Well, the French are really living up to their name, that's for sure. InFamous playing fantastically well, recovering from that loss versus Epsilon, taking a 2-0, easy peasy, no problem versus Legionnaires. Legionnaires had the shot to take it back into their hands, especially on lockers on the second map. But at the second round, they just fell over. They couldn't hold it. InFamous were forcing those contestations again, and they were going all over the map.
Yeah, I mean, If there was ever a chance, it would have been in that third map, Gulman Railway, a map that I would have been really interested to see how the Australian side approached it, but they couldn't get over that first hurdle. That first hurdle, of course, being Locker, and I mean, commiserations to Legionnaires. It's been so good just to see them here, and they've made such a, I mean, this is basically a holiday for the guys now. They can sit back, watch some real high-quality Battlefield here in Cologne, and just basically make the most of a bad situation, which I think they most definitely should. It would have been nice to see them take it into a third, but I feel like InFamous were the better team in that one.
That is for sure, and we saw that recovery on the second round on the second map. I mean, they were able to take that 20-ticket hold. Well, basically, Legionnaires had over 40 tickets in their hands, and InFamous quickly took it back. They were very, very well, I don't want to say thoughtful. That's the wrong word to use.
You can say thoughtful if you'd like.
Yes, but it's not really the word. But they were focused.
Yeah.
They had that team play. They knew where to go, where to contest, and Legionnaires were not quick enough to go. They didn't have that team cohesion to fight off a team like InFamous. And you were saying, InFamous, one of the few teams that will actually go into their strength, into their communication very, very hard, especially when they're under that kind of stress, when they're down in tickets.
I mean, you should hear them. If you guys get a chance, if you're near Cologne, do get down to the studio, because I'm not going to lie, you basically just hear, if you sit anywhere near the stage, you just hear both teams just shouting. Obviously, the French sounds great when they're shouting. It's just such a great language to shout in. So, you can really hear InFamous getting passionate about that one. They're really kind of looking forward to that one. And, I mean, another point to make is, of course, what that means now for the tournament. We're going to be now seeing, of course, Legionnaires go home. InFamous are going to be waiting in the sidelines, ready to watch the Fnatic Epsilon game, which will be going on very shortly. But until we do anything else, it's time to find out how Rella feels over with Mitch on the stage.
Thank you very much, Alex and Milos. Well, Rella, 2-0 win for you guys. Obviously, a very strong start for you guys on Siege of Shanghai. Brett FX was saying that was, your map. You expect to win that one. Tell us a little bit about what what happened with you guys on locker room there. It seemed like, especially the first half, obviously it was quite close,
Yeah.
but the Legionnaires managed to get out in front. How did that happen?
Yeah, indeed, our team play was a bit off. Even a lot of mistakes from us, especially during the push. We are separating ourselves, like two guys were going on the point, and two other guys were spawning random and going on the other point, which is a huge mistake. And we did several times because we have not all the automatism we should have as a mix, and some players have not the the automatism that we as InFamous have. So it's not their fault. It's just a question of team play, of course, and it's making things really harder because it's a game where you don't have the time, like on CS:GO, to stop between the runs and to say, okay, next time we're going to do this strat. It's during the game that you have to think, or not even to think. Sometimes it's just reflexes, and of course, in a situation where you have to set up a new way of playing, you can do it. You can do it in the game. So you have to wait until the end of the round, and of course you end up with round like what we had, which is really bad round and sad to see. Yeah, but maybe tonight we will be able to try a bit more.
So you played played Epsilon beforehand on that same exact map. You ended up losing it to them. You think Locker is like one of your worst maps to be playing in here? I mean, you're feeling kind of bad on it because I mean that's lost the Legionnaires on that particular map.
Yeah.
You're looking good on the map beforehand. You think like that's going to be one that you're going to be looking at to ban future?
You mean should we stay on Locker next?
Well, I mean, are you going to be looking to ban that map out because you lost to it on?
Yeah,
on,
actually,
Epsilon?
maybe we'll talk about it tonight. But the thing is, Locker is a map where you can be raped or rape the other team, depending on if you have the line or not. And it can actually, the same team from one match to another one can go from 100 tickets to lose to 20 tickets, for example. And it all depends if the as I say, the automatism of taking the good lines are there. So no, we're not going to ban it. We lost because we played bad, not because we're not bad on the map.
That's a good attitude.
Yeah, and actually, I would say that the Austrian team played really aggressive, and it surprised us. They played really well in like unusual spots, and we were like, "What the fuck is going on?" And of course, this surprise was really impressive. I don't know what they did, but they did it good anyway.
Yeah.
Well, huge respect there, of course, from the InFamous guys, and thank you very much for your time, Ella, as well. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Moving on. Before we go to a break, though, let's just take stock of things and see where we are here today on the brackets in the grand scheme of things. Of course, you can see here the first game we saw Fnatic advance over Legionnaires in that 2-0, and then Epsilon, of course, the same way over InFamous. Obviously, now with InFamous getting a 2-0 win over Legionnaires, they will move up in the loser bracket. But now we turn our attention to our winners bracket game. It's going to be a blockbuster, a bit of an El Clasico of Battlefield 4, maybe a chance at a rematch here. Epsilon and Fnatic. After the break, ladies and gentlemen, don't go too far. We'll be right here bringing you all the action from the main stage.